having ambassadors of the Mayfield School District. You would be called on periodically to visit with realtors and their clients to promote the benefits of the Gates Mills Elementary and Mayfield City Schools in general. So maybe that would be another thing that we could talk about. Also, Dr. Barnes doesn't look like he's going to be addressing the village council in September, maybe more like November. But if you don't mind, how about if we just go around and introduce ourselves a little bit, since it's been a while? And I can start. How does that sound? So Jim Stafford, as you know, and I am a senior underwriter with Progressive. And really the reason why this committee means so much to me is my growing up in Gates Mills and my honor of being a student at Gates Mills Elementary from kindergarten through 5th grade, and then on to the middle school for 6th through 8th grade. And then my parents did feel I should go off to a boarding school, so that's what I did for the senior years. But I'm very attached to our Mayfield school system, and I want to try to help as much as I can. So that's all for me. How about who would like to go next?
I'll go. Oh,
all right.
Go ahead, Larry.
Oh, we'll let Audrey go.
All right, I'll make it short. I'm Audrey DeVore. I am a resident of Gates Mills for a little over 50 years. I've been an educator since 1956, and I stopped in 2020 due to the COVID. And I've had very good years. And I'll end it there.
And you were my teacher.
Yes, and Jimmy, everyone please know Jimmy was a very nice young man, very mannerly, a nice student. And likewise, I have been honored to have his son in school as a student.
Yes.
So good for you, two good gentlemen.
I did forget to include that. He went through the entire process more so than I did. So my son Dylan, thank you for reminding me.
I'll go next. I'm Larry Frankel, formerly on council for about 9.5 years. I've been involved with the Mayfield School Liaison Committee for about 9 of those years. I did not have any kids in the Mayfield system. All my kids went through Orange schools. But I've come to learn a lot about the Mayfield schools. I've spent time in the elementary school. I've been in the high school. And I've had the opportunity to meet with students and to some of the teachers there. And I think we're really lucky to have the school system that we do. And the elementary school is a great opportunity for the children that are there.
Great, thank you. And David, would you like to be next?
Sure. I'd like to add that Audrey is a terrific dancer.
She sure is. I've experienced that too.
She is a terrific. She is a terrific dancer. I saw her at the band concert.
Yep.
My name is David Atten. I've been on council for 6 months, 3 weeks and 2 days. I've lived in the village for 25 years. I've been on the school liaison committee for, I think, 3 or 4. I forget, 3 probably. And I'm very interested in how we're going to approach Mayfield City Schools as a committee.
Great. Thank you. And then who else do we have?
I can go.
Yep.
I can go. Deanne Dominish. I've lived in the village for approximately 16 years. I have 3 children, all of which have attended Mayfield schools. My middle child just graduated from Mayfield High School. I have a daughter in 11th grade and older son that attended Mayfield schools through 8th grade. And I've been on the liaison committee. I don't know exactly how long, but it's been a while, probably 6 or 7 years, maybe. I'm also involved in many other things in the village, and I definitely am interested in maintaining our Gates Mills Elementary and all things Mayfield.
Great, thank you.
Mhm.
Hi, I think I'm next. My name is Sean O'Hagan. I'm a resident here in the village, and I've been on the liaison committee for a handful of years. I think I joined in 16 or 17. And schools are dynamic places, and I think in my experience, they're as they're really there's all sorts of ways you can see how their relationships to their communities are reflected in them, and that they tend to be as good and responsive as the quality of the support and interaction that they receive from their community. So I'm really interested in seeing how the liaison committee can not just kind of report out to Gates Mills about the school district, but how we can facilitate more interaction with the school district with an aim towards really making positive
Oh, thank you, Sean, but I think you
contributions
just,
to the district, whether they're from Gates Mills or from some other part of the district.
okay. Thank you. You faded out just a little bit there, but then you came back. So thank you for that. Appreciate it. Okay, I guess, should we move into just talking about the mission statement, where we each feel we should head with this committee? Would that be a good choice to take?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I have, I've sent you the list of suggestions that have been sent to me. I can read those to you if you'd like. Okay. All right. So Audrey felt that the mission of the Mayfield School Liaison Committee is working together enthusiastically to promote quality education, respect, and the well-being of all students in the Mayfield School District, which is great. Sean sent a suggestion to encourage and facilitate connections between the residents of Gates Mills and the Mayfield School District that contribute to the success of the district and its students. Robin did send a note saying, I want to be an advocate of the Gates Mills Elementary School, or at least understand what issues are driving a few people to feel they are against the Mayfield schools. It seems like many are upset that many of the property taxes go to the school district and feel the Mayfield district is not the best option. I am fully in support of the Mayfield district, as I think you are as well, referring to me. And then Sandra Turner gave some great statistics. Larry Frankel, one of the charges of our committee, in my opinion, should be to educate council and the Gates Mills community about the attributes of the Mayfield school system. In the past, people have spoken ill of the system with very little knowledge of the wonderful accomplishments that students and the school has made in the recent past. And then we do have David, and let me get over there. Okay, David, well, David, maybe it'd be best for you to explain your viewpoint. I mean, it's like Sandra, we've got a lot of statistics there. Would you mind maybe just sharing?
Sure. We can talk about numbers later, which are an important part of this conversation, I think.
Okay.
My view of the mission is very similar to Sean O'Hagan's, except I think it should explicitly include talking with people in other municipalities within the school district. So I think for us trying to do anything alone, we won't get the attention we would get from Mayfield City Schools as if we were working together with the other three municipalities that form this school district.
Okay.
I also think that although Mayfield Schools is very important to this village, as a committee of council, I think we ought to be perhaps a little broader and not piling this on for extra work or anything, but I think we have a lot of very important educational establishments around the village, not in the village necessarily, some are in the village, with whom we ought to be liaising also, in order to get the best result possible for all our children and therefore for all our villages. So this is about the village. This is not about Mayfield City Schools. Mayfield City Schools is on the agenda, but it's not the only item in my view. So I agree with Sean O'Hagan that we're trying to form partnership, and I think it should include not just Gates Mills, but also the other municipalities. I think it should also include the Mayfield Area Chamber of Commerce, which has the same geography as the Mayfield City Schools, and their stated objectives are exactly the same as ours. So I think this committee has a lot of work to do, and I'm hoping that we can get away from qualitative assessments like I like the school because my grandfather went there, I like the school because I went there. We've got to talk about where we are and where we want to go. And I think the most important finding that I got out of the comprehensive plan process so far is that the outside perspectives found that most realtors believe that the Mayfield City Schools is a second-class school district. That's them talking not about their own opinions, but about opinions they've heard from people who were contemplating relocating to Northeast Ohio and were considering Gates Mills as a possible home. So that's where I am on this whole thing.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. Just out of curiosity, Larry, you said that your children went to Orange, is that correct?
Yeah, they did.
So that's a very fine school district. So is it best to try to find out what they're doing that we can enhance ours? Is that maybe one thing that we should look at?
You know, it is a fine school district, and it's so fine that none of my 3 children who now live in Cleveland send their kids to Orange. They chose not to go to Orange, and they're all in Shaker.
Oh, interesting.
So I'm not sure this is a problem for like Highland Heights and Mayfield Village. I think the Gates Mills problem, in my opinion, is that we have this perception of we're overfunding Mayfield schools and that we don't have enough young families utilizing the school. So there's a disproportionate amount of funding going to Mayfield schools. And I think that's been too much of the focus of the community. And I think that's where some of the ill feelings come. And people will talk about the school, but they don't really understand the school. I would like to say that people that are, not talking, they haven't been in the school. They don't see what happens there. I know Deanne's kids went there, and I remember going to the meetings there, and the kids are happy there. They're learning there. It's a exciting way of learning. And people don't know what's happening. We went over to the high school one year, and we saw how they were using their 3D printers to make hands.
Yeah.
But people don't know really about that. So I think this is coming from an economic standpoint and not from a knowledgeable standpoint. And I think we really have a marketing problem. And
okay.
I think also it might just be a handful of real estate agents that feel the way that sometimes we're getting this reported back to us. So
Excellent. Well, thank you for that. David, I guess I have a question. I was reading what you sent today, and you are saying that the Gates Mills Elementary School is the smallest and the oldest. And you've mentioned that also about the middle school, and that there's also 30 acres with the environmental, the XL Tech. These are interesting points, but what are you thinking in the back of your mind with that?
In the back of my mind are 2 points.
Okay.
One is that the superintendent of the Gates Mills, of the Mayfield school system, has said that he's very happy that they've got a facility in each of the 4 municipalities.
Okay,
We should remember they have 2 in Gates Mills.
okay,
The second point is that an old school and a small school is very expensive. If you look at the data, the cost per student at Gates Mills Elementary is extremely high. There are fewer than 100 kids there today. And in my experience in schools, I've been working in schools for 15 years now after retiring from business. Unless you have at least 250 or 300 kids in a school, it is very, very expensive. And my understanding is there is spare capacity elsewhere in the other 3 elementary schools, each of which is at least 3 times bigger than Gates Mills Elementary. So I think on an economic basis and a quality basis, and an environmental basis, I mean, small schools are economically disadvantaged. You have to maintain them. They're not very energy efficient. They have problems that arise all the time. We live in old houses. We know the problem. And it's a very expensive school to operate. And it only operates for less than 100 kids, only a quarter of whom come from Gates Mills. And it's not, in my view, a strong performer in economic terms. And by economics, I mean value for money in the Mayfield City School System. And if they wanted to have one property in the village, they could continue with either or both, I suppose. But I don't think they need both the environmental center and the elementary school. They're both properties that I think could be developed sensibly, not ruthlessly or indiscriminately, and put some property back on the village payroll.
My understanding, though, is that those properties are owned by Mayfield Schools and not by Gates Mills.
Yes, that's true.
So I don't think that we really are going to accomplish anything by putting the properties back into Gates Mills, because I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think Gates Mills has been in the position to purchase those proproperties.
We don't know what the terms would be, Larry. We don't know. We haven't even talked about it.
Well, I think we have more fish to fry before we start to look at how we can utilize other properties for other uses. And I think right now, I understand your statistics and that there are few students and it's an older school. But I think if you talk to the people that have gone to the school there, that's what they like about the school. And so I think you have grandiose ideas, which are great to have. But I think right now the focus here should be, how do we get younger families into the village so that they can support the school? And I met with some kids that were going to school there yesterday, down at the clock dedication, and people like that school. And maybe it is an environmental that it's a smaller school, and maybe the windows might not be up to new standards, but we have houses like that. I don't know if everyone in this committee has changed all the windows in their houses because they're not environmental.
Too expensive.
Excuse me?
It's too expensive.
Well, I don't see us accomplishing anything by talking about closing schools. I think, my personal opinion is that we need to focus on how we're getting more kids into the school. So that's
I would agree with that as well.
Okay, well, I agree. Let's do both.
okay.
It's a debate.
But how can you, if I could just add, how can you do both? Because if you're saying the school needs to close and go away, but let's save it and promote it, you can't do both.
Let's look at both.
Yes.
But I don't feel that's the mission of this. I know we haven't defined a mission, but up to this point, that's never been the mission. The mission is to be the liaison to the Mayfield City Schools and promote our school. It's not to figure out how to save money or get rid of it. That's not. I've been.
Can I add something? Fourth time. May I add something? In response to our mission will be set forth, and that is a part of it. Now, what David has said is the complaint I hear from many people too. I'm an educator, And consequently, many people make remarks to me. We have this same situation of maintaining an expensive school, which was Oakville in Mayfield Heights, and we closed it. And it was for that reason. And sometimes you have to analyze it, cost factor and so on, which David has said. So I am just telling you what I find for the consensus of many people that I talk to. I handle it gently. I don't want to stir up any situation, but cost factor is important to many people out here.
Only 10% of the respondents to the questionnaire said that they were getting good value for money from their payments to Mayfield City Schools.
My question, and I understand what Audrey, what you're saying is, but I'm wondering, is that really the charge of this committee? If there are financial issues for the Mayfield schools, should that be taken care of by the Mayfield School Board? And, you know,
Definitely.
and so I don't know that, you know, I don't know that we're going to be able to, as this committee, influence the entire economic viewpoint of Mayfield. You know, I think they would, that might be something for someone in Gates Mills to get on the school board and kind of work from within there. But I don't, I don't see, you know, how we're going to be able to do that.
I mean, frankly, like, I'm sorry, Larry.
Sorry. Carry on, John.
So yeah, and where my Zoom glitches sometimes, so I didn't mean to interrupt you. Were you, did I cut you off?
No, I was done.
Okay, great. Yeah, I mean, as I understand it, this is a liaison committee between Gates Mills and the school district. Right, and I suppose we could look up a definition of liaison, but you know, it's a committee that is between, you know, the school district and Gates Mills, and you know, Gates Mills is a part of the Mayfield School District. That is a community we are a part of. You know, we are a part of Cuyahoga County. We're a part of, right, you know, all manner of communities. Our Gates Mills boundary is there in as much as it defines Gates Mills, but that's, you know, we are a part of the Mayfield School District.
Yep.
And you know, so to the extent we have a committee, I think that's a good idea, and I think that we should be looking for ways that you know, where we as the residents of Gates Mills can contribute positively to the success of the school district that we are in, that we are a part of that community, and we should be looking for ways to positively contribute to the success of the school district. And I think it's incumbent upon us to do that for a few reasons. I think it's incumbent upon the citizens of any school district to do that. I think, you know, public school districts are dynamic places. I think about, you know, overall, it's a good idea for us to have this committee. I think about the point in, you know, just the moment in history that we're in. We've come out of a pandemic. We've got, you know, inflation that's running through the roof. And I think it's a really great time for, you know, everybody to be coming to the school district and saying, what can we do to make your outcomes better, to work, you know, to improve what's going on for the kids in your district. And I don't think, and you know, in these times, that we should be doing anything further to destabilize that. You know, everything that comes out of Columbus is incredibly destabilizing, whether that's funding, whether that's changes at the State Board of Education, whether that's testing regimes. You know, the idea that we as the residents of Gates Mills would have a self-interest in trying to further destabilize the good work that educational professionals are doing. You know, I have no interest in doing that. You know, I want to contribute to the success of the school district and see how we can enhance the ways that Gates Mills seeks to do that.
May I contribute, Jim, a little bit?
Absolutely.
What's this word destabilize all about? We're talking about improving a school system. There's room for improvement. What's destabilizing? Where's that come from?
I mean, really, like,
And my second point, Sean, how do we measure improvement?
there's, I mean, all manner of measurements, David. I mean, schools are among the most measured institutions in our life.
Well, let's pick one. Let's pick one and stick with it.
I'm not sure what deficiency you're pointing to. Okay, let's pick some measurements in terms of how Gates Mills relates to the school district.
No, how good is the school?
Well, no, hold on. Let's pick some measurements about, we could measure all sorts of things. We could measure during an unprecedented pandemic of our times, how many times did the residents of Gates Mills, either as individuals or through some official capacity, reach out to the school district that we're a member of and say, hey, how can we help? Let's not get distracted here. This committee is the Mayfield, it's the Gates Mill, it is our charge to work with the school district. I don't think we need to be asking foundation. This is not the leave the school district committee. This is not the close the school committee. This is, if folks have ideas that are destabilizing, there are other avenues for them to participate in the Mayfield School District, to have a hearing. I don't think it's the job of this liaison committee to be pursuing those aims.
Okay, so if we're a liaison committee, where's the Mayfield City School representative? Or who is it? I don't know.
Jim specifically scheduled this meeting so that the group of us could talk. We normally have meetings with the principal and at the Gates Mills Elementary School and with others at the school district. Jim, I believe, as chair of this committee, scheduled this call for us.
That's correct.
And I think the point of this discussion was what is our mission statement? We should be trying to figure out our mission statement of how, as a liaison committee, we can promote the schools within our community.
Yeah, and we do have one, and let's update it. Let's get good input. I like it, but I was looking back through liaison committee notes that Sandra had in her previous capacity, a chair has sent out. It's not like we are absent of a mission. I support revisiting it, but I'm looking at meeting minutes or an agenda rather from a meeting on January 16th, 2019, committee mission, promote awareness and collaboration between the village and all of the Mayfield schools, especially Gates Mills Elementary and the middle and high schools, so that all may flourish. It's not like we don't have a mission. Let's revisit it. This is a good, we should do that. But it's not like we are unmourned here. We've got, right? This committee has existed for a long time. It has operated under a mission statement. We should revisit it, but that doesn't mean that the whole focus of the liaison committee should change either.
I would agree with that, Sean. I think to David's point of looking at the economics and the older buildings, I don't think that's our charge. I think that might be some other entity where maybe you have this idea of, well, we have 30 acres, we close all the schools, you build up one facility that's modern with solar power and energy efficient windows and geothermal heating and cooling, and you just have one campus, and maybe you sell all the rest of the campuses and put in housing and condos and apartment buildings, and maybe that someone with great ideas will come up with that. But I don't think that's not what I want to be doing on this committee.
Yeah, or you could take that and as your supposition, and you could say, how do we try to find ways to make the school building more energy efficient? We could ask that about a lot of questions, not just residences. There's a whole bunch of meetings across the street from the restaurant that should be asking that question. I mean, this committee doesn't need to be about that. It's come on.
Well, if you want the committee to be a promoter for Mayfield City Schools, and particularly for the Gates Mills Elementary School, that's a mission. I'd like to see real change in the school district. The question is, does this committee have any aspirations as to how it can affect the performance of the district?
You can do that in all manner of ways. I feel
Yeah,
like
we could.
that's a straw man sort of a question there. You know, come on, there's lots of ways we can improve performance and experience and connections to the school district.
Okay, so should that be part of the mission? And should we be talking to other communities that are part of the school district as we pursue that mission?
I mean, I think that, you know, our unique positioning is that as the Gates Mills liaison committee with the Mayfield School District, is it does make sense for, you know, how can Gates Mills contribute to the success of the school district?
Yes.
Right. I mean, does Highland Heights want Gates Mills coming in and saying, as the Gates Mills liaison committee to the school district, hey, Highland Heights, right? Like,
I don't know. Have we asked them?
We can do that. I mean, that's not a problem.
I just don't know how, I mean, we can definitely do that, but those other communities people move there for Mayfield schools. They send their kids to the public school. I've been a part of Mayfield schools for 15 years between all my kids, and that's not an issue in any of the other communities. And I don't know, I mean, yes, we could ask them, but I don't know how much we have a unique setup in Gates Mills that is not like the other communities, so.
Yep.
Presumably all those communities want the Mayfield City Schools to be as excellent as is possible.
Right.
Yep.
Yes.
We're all aligned in that regard. So we must have conversations. There must be fruitful conversations.
Why can't we have, I mean, the school district as board members that are elected by the school, who are you supposing to go talk to? When you say, let's go talk to the other community, like, who are you supposing to talk to? Like, the school district is a community. It exists as a community. It is as important of a boundary line as like Gates Mills is, right? So like, if we are talking to the school district, why does that not mean we are talking to the community that comprises the school district?
Because we're not talking to the communities that comprise the school district. That's why.
Well, but it is like, it's
not. They're all voted at large. We have no.
If I talk to the rainbow, right, then I am talking to Roy G. Biv. I'm talking to red, orange, yellow, green, and blue, and violet, right? Like, why can't I just talk to the rainbow?
Because it doesn't talk back, and we need conversation.
I don't understand what that means. There's board meetings. I don't understand what that means.
Bad metaphor. Anyway, so are we going to try and agree on a mission tonight?
I hope so. I think we should.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, so, I mean, it sounds like to me, the majority, well, maybe even with you, David, that we're moving in the same direction where we do want to promote the school and to
the school district.
District, right, and to find ways to make it better than it is. But so, is it okay that we leave some of these other ideas out for the time being?
No question. That'd be fine. That'd be fine.
All right. Okay. So I mean, okay, great. So then, having said that, who has a suggestion on what we should say here then?
I have a suggestion, and that is, Jim, that you read the mission statement we have, and that if anyone thinks there's something should be added to that, we could then discuss that added point.
Well, I think that's a great point. I'm sorry, go ahead, whoever wanted to say something.
No.
So I was just feeling that we needed a more revised direction because of all the new direction that's coming from the villagers, you know, that we're hearing. I mean, the survey that David has pointed out, I guess it all comes down to the same though, you know, that we just need to do a better job of promoting and of trying to get the school to be more effective. Is that?
I don't think that's it. I mean, I think we should be trying to encourage ways. I think we should be asking something of ourselves. What are we contributing to the Gates Mills School District? Like, contributions to a school district are not limited to payroll or to property taxes.
No.
What are we contributing to the school district? What do we ask the school district? How can we help you? What can we do as a member of that community? What are we like? That's why I said, to encourage and facilitate connections between the residents of Gates Mills and the school district that contribute to not the improvement, but contribute to the success of the district and its students.
Yes.
I don't think we need to be saying, of course, we all want the school district to improve, but I also don't think our mission statement needs to have an orientation that it's at like a deficit. It has strengths, it has weaknesses. I think we want to contribute towards its success. And the other thing that's good about that is that's not like a point in time. Like that's a mission statement is something that should hold for a period of time.
Yep.
Right? It's not objectives and goals. It's a mission statement that pulls together, right? We want to contribute to the success of the district and its students. And Gates Mills, sure, we might have ideas where we ask the district to do something, fair enough, but we should also be asking of ourselves, what are we doing to contribute to the success of the district?
Okay, I like that.
And what have we been doing for the past however many years this committee has existed?
Probably not enough.
I don't think, but that's not just limited to the liaison. I mean, just think about a school district. Like you go to a play and you see a program and there's advertisers in the program, right? You go to a football game and there's boosters. There's people that contribute to a school district, whether their kids are in the schools or not.
No question.
And does Gates Mills do that? And I think we probably do in little ways, but I think we should be encouraging far more than we do.
I like that.
Yep, that's fine.
I think people are willing to, if approached,
Yeah,
they will.
I think they will. And then it's less about just it contributes to the other aims of like promoting the school district, right? Like it's all like engendering, like it isn't this thing that exists apart from us, right? Like it is this, we are amongst it, and
no question.
we should be trying to contribute to its success in good faith, positive ways. And along the way, if we've got good ideas, like we can, share them and advocate for them. But like, it's, I would like to encourage us to be less transactional, and not just us, like the 6 people on this phone, but like Gates Mills. I think we should be less transactional in our approach to our relationship with the school district, and more like participating in good faith as a member of a community.
How do we feel about the ambassador idea? I've had a conversation with the Gates Mills principal, and she felt that that was a good idea, where we would be kind of, ready periodically to, talk to new residents or realtors and to promote the benefits of the school district. Do we feel that that should be part of our mission statement or anything like that?
I don't know that that should be part of the mission statement, but I think that should be part of the mission. I think
Okay.
we have a broad term which defines that. But, I think a lot of things could be done to, ambassadors, a great idea, to get real estate agents more attuned to what's happening. I know that in past years, this committee were ambassadors to the elementary school. And you probably remember that we would go there and, we would sit in the classes and we'd read books to some kids, and we'd actually participate in the school. And I know Audrey's done that for many years. And I think we can be ambassadors to our school and find out what's going on there and help get parents to help us promote the schools. And
Yeah.
so I don't think you have to have specifics like that in the mission
Okay.
statement, but I think those are things that can be done.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah. I
So
haven't
are
been
we-
to school probably for 4 years, but we used to be there all the time. We knew the principals. The principal knew us. Parents did. It was
Yep.
very helpful.
Yeah.
And what stopped that? Was it COVID entirely?
No, it stopped a little before that. I think what happened was there was a change in the principal, and we didn't know the principal as well, and didn't make the effort to follow up with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's also asking. I mean, it's asking, right? I mean, I think, there's something very powerful about like reaching out and, asking, what are things that we can help, facilitate, for residents of Gates Mills to support your school. We've done this in the past. Would you like us to, right? It's,
You have other ideas for us.
yeah, right?
Well, it's clear to me that you're focusing on Gates Mills Elementary. Is that the case?
I'd like to see us be connected more broadly, right? I mean, some things that are very powerful. I mean, Deanne, I don't know if your kids have done anything with this. I'm not sure what the high school does, but some things that are very powerful for kids in high school that a lot of districts are doing more of are trying to help find them connections to internships or more applied like learning settings. And I don't know how many businesses are in Gates Mills are going to be like advertising in a program, but we do have about find internship opportunities.
I believe there are, and maybe Jim, are you aware of those? Like from your son just graduated high school, right?
Yep. And he actually, as a result, is now going to be employed through Swagelock, and that was through the Mayfield High School connection. So great opportunity for him, employee-owned company, and he's going to do really well because of that.
And he
That's
did that.
awesome.
Was that through Excel Tech he did that, Jim?
That's correct. That's
Okay.
correct. Dave.
But there are other internship programs that I remember, like Steris had one. There was something with the Cleveland Clinic.
Yep. That's right.
Yeah, so there are many of those opportunities, but I would venture to say that most people don't know what they are, and they need to be promoted.
And then it's thinking to themselves like, hey, or being asked, hey, we're looking for folks to host placements too, right? Like it's so no, I think our community has a lot to contribute, and I think we need to be humble. I think we need to ask the school district how best to fit in, right? We don't want to design an idea and come in and say, let us do this. Like, right? We should ask, what can we do to help? What are you doing where some of us could help? But no, I would love to, I mean, there's, obvious reasons that we'll think about the elementary school, first in so many ways, but I would love to see us try to kind of champion these connections throughout the district, whether it's at other, at any of their buildings. I mean, it could be the other, I don't see why we would have a constraint on that.
And I think the school would be open to that. And because I know in the past, Jim, we've set up times to go to the school and talk with students and to observe and to
which school, Larry?
I've been into the high school and the middle school.
Okay.
And I think there are some people who were in some of the other elementary schools.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Very good. What do you suppose is the best way to handle this? Should we submit our written suggestions and then vote on them again, or what do you suppose we should do?
I would suggest you would take the mission statement and then modify from some of the suggestions, and then send it to everyone, and then everyone could comment and kind of expound on that.
Okay. All right. I can do that.
Do we have the existing mission handy? I certainly don't.
I don't either. But
I don't either, but I will contact Sandra about that.
Okay. Okay.
I've got a, just, an agenda that Sandra had emailed, for this other meeting back in 2019. I can just send it along to this group. The mission statement's included in that agenda.
That would be great. Thank you,
Thank
Sean. The other thing that we need to think about are questions that we want to ask Dr. Barnes when he does address the village council. And if we can, start thinking about that and maybe even consider having another meeting before that occurs. And he can have the questions ahead of time so that he can give them some thought.
Good idea.
Okay. I'm kind of sorry to say, I've got to direct a Gates Mills play in about 10 minutes. So I may have to cut out, but I don't mean to end this conversation. Tom, are you still there? Chief Robinson?
Of course, I'm still here.
Oh, good. You are still here. Okay. Well, I might have to leave, but could you, I guess if everyone would like to stay, is that going to be okay?
Well, yeah, I popped in earlier because as you're heading down a road that you shouldn't head down, it almost sounded like you were going to make some decisions and do some voting, which you cannot do in a virtual meeting because of the sunshine laws.
Okay.
All right, but you didn't, you were just discussing, which is perfectly acceptable. The other thing that I do need to remind you of is when you are soliciting information from the group,
right,
you cannot hit reply all. So let's say David and Sean are going to send Jim information. That's perfectly acceptable. But don't use the reply all feature because that would make it basically a public meeting.
Oh.
So don't group chat, if you will. Send your stuff to the one person, and that's fine.
To Jim.
Okay.
Right.
To Jim.
Okay.
I mean,
all right. Sounds good.
So, Jim, you were saying that you want to leave or need to leave, and the rest of the group, if you want to continue your conversations, that's fine.
I think we're finished, don't we?
I'll hang out with you, but I'll go silent again and take my image off the screen.
Well, actually, I thought we were going to be done around 7, and so I'm kind of planning to be around that. So
yeah,
I should mention something else just so you're all aware of it. Before this meeting, it's a little bit different meeting than we've had, like with council and different boards and commissions. I have talked with the law director, and he's made it very clear that we need to stop having these kind of meetings.
Really?
Virtual meetings. Yeah, that was for COVID.
Okay.
And so you need that public component. We are meeting the public component by live streaming it. That's why we're live streaming it today.
Yes.
Okay.
And we advertised it. So anybody who wanted to go on YouTube would be able to view what's being discussed. Okay. But going forward, those things, we're going to be going away from those and back to more of the in-person type meetings, which would then allow you to vote, to make the decisions, to make changes to your mission statement or whatever you want to do.
Well, thank you for that, Tom. And I know that David and Sandra have encouraged the next meeting to be in person, which I completely agree with. And maybe we can even meet at the elementary school, which would be fun, I think.
As we've done before.
Yeah, so we'll try to work that out.
We have a basketball game.
Do we have a date for the next meeting?
We don't have that yet. Should we talk about that now? We could do that.
I mean, what are your plans? Doing something monthly, or what are you thinking?
I was thinking if we feel that it's necessary, I'm all for it. Otherwise, maybe quarterly, or at least before the.
I mean, I honestly feel quarterly it's hard to get things done, especially given the timing of a school year, and I don't think that's enough. But
okay, all right.
We can go with the majority.
Well, how does everyone else feel about that?
Why don't you have it monthly, and then if we think there's nothing to talk about, we'll cancel it.
Okay, so monthly would be better? And-
Yeah. I
Okay,
agree.
I think at least initially, so we have a
I-
lot to figure out and
I
okay,
agree.
Sounds
all right, good.
All right,
Well, I will definitely send you out a email and with some date suggestions, and we can come up with a time to meet. Would that be okay? All right.
All right.
Well, I'm sorry, you guys. I have a bunch of people who are wanting to audition. So I've got to get down there.
all right.
Okay. Thank you, Jim.
Great to
Thanks,
see
John.
everybody. Thanks so much. It was a
Thanks,
very
everybody.
meaningful
Stay safe.
Bye-bye.
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 It would appear everyone left.
Couldn't hook it out. Can't get out of this.
Don't worry, I can end the meeting.
Okay, it's off now.
Okay, bye-bye.
I'm all set.